Hello and welcome to Dott TV Media News. I am Priscilla Ifani. The Delta State government has donated 5 brand new operational vehicles to the Delta State Command of the Nigerian Correctional Service. The vehicles were presented by Governor Sheriff Oborowori at the Government House, Asaba, as part of the administration's commitment to strengthening the justice system and enhancing security across the state.
Represented by the Deputy Governor Mondo Yeme, Governor Borewori said an efficient correctional service depends on adequate logistics and improved mobility, noting that the vehicles would boost the operational capacity of the command.
The state government will be presenting 5 brand new operational vehicles to the Delta State Command of the Nigerian Correctional Service. The donation is a practical demonstration of our resolve to strengthen the justice system and support the institutions responsible for maintaining peace, security, and the rule of law. An efficient correctional service depends on reliable logistics and mobility. These operational vehicles will enhance the day-to-day activities of officers, improve response capacity, strengthen supervision and coordination, and support the effective discharge of their responsibilities.
Responding, the Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Sylvester Nwakuche, represented by the Delta State Controller of Corrections, Chuke Idoko, expressed appreciation to Governor Borewori and the Delta State government for the donation. He assured that the vehicles will be deployed effectively to improve service delivery.
I stand here as I've received this. I want to assure the state government that these vehicles given to us are going to perform the purpose they are given to us. I will expressly pass them down to where they are going to be fully utilized.
Emeka Okonkwo reporting for Dott TV News.
Also, the Delta State government has reiterated its unwavering commitment to ensuring the equitable distribution of energy infrastructure across communities in the state. The Commissioner for Energy, Michael Anoka, gave the assurance while receiving a high-level delegation of chiefs and community leaders from the Emono Kingdom during a courtesy visit to his office. Anoka commended the leadership of the Emono Kingdom for its proactive, peaceful, and constructive engagement with the government. He assured the delegation that the ministry remains fully committed to expanding access to reliable electricity across all parts of Delta State. Speaking on behalf of the delegation, the group spokesman Gode Ngbabego said the visit was to advocate the upgrade and rehabilitation of the power infrastructure in Emono Kingdom. Meanwhile, the chairman of Ughelli North Local Government Council, Jaro Egbo, has intervened in the internal crisis involving 2 opposing groups in the Remokoren community, warning that his administration will not tolerate any act capable of threatening peace and security in the area. Egbo gave the warning during a peace meeting at the council secretariat where he received a delegation from the community led by its president Godwin Anigboro, following a dispute that reportedly escalated into violence and the destruction of private property. Condemning the incident, the chairman reaffirmed his administration's zero-tolerance stance on crime and criminality, urging all aggrieved parties to embrace dialogue and lawful means of resolving their differences. Responding, Anigboro thanked the chairman for his prompt intervention and pledged the community's continued cooperation with local government and security agencies to ensure lasting peace and stability. To security now, the Delta State Police Command has arrested a motorcycle rider for allegedly kidnapping a 3-year-old child he was employed to convey to and from school. The spokesperson for the command, Bright Edafe, who disclosed this in a video shared with our newsroom, said The suspects also collected a ransom of 500,000 naira from the victim's family.
The suspect was contracted to convey the child to and from school for a monthly payment of 10,000 naira. Edafi said the suspect carried out the assignment for about 3 weeks before allegedly abducting the child instead of taking her to school.
We have a case of a 3-year-old child who an Okada rider was contracted to be picking the child from home to school and from school back to the home. He did this job for about 3 weeks before the devil came into him, according to him. On that fateful day, he took this child. Instead of taking the child to school, he took the child to wherever he took the child to and started calling the parents with another line that the child has been kidnapped and they should bring the ransom of 2 million naira. His own line was switched off. They couldn't reach him. So they never thought he was even the one who masterminded the kidnap. They reported while they were at the police station, he also called, threatening them that if they go to the police, they will kill the child. Eventually, a ransom of 500,000 was paid. That was when he allowed the child to go.
In another development, the Delta State Police Command has arraigned 30 suspects arrested. In another development, the Delta State Police Command has arraigned 30 suspects arrested during an intelligence-led enforcement operation carried out across identified criminal hotspots in Asaba. The operation, led by the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operations, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, targeted black spots, brothels, and suspected drug dens within the metropolis and surrounding communities. According to the police, a total of 202 persons were arrested during the raid based on intelligence gathered by the State Intelligence Department. A police statement said after preliminary investigations, 172 suspects were screened and released unconditionally. Among those arraigned in the Asaba Magisterial District is a 63-year-old proprietor of Prince Tavern 50 brothel, Chizoba Ojoku, who is facing charges of allegedly permitting his premises to be used as a brothel and procuring women and girls for prostitution. The remaining 29 suspects were charged with conduct likely to cause a breach of the peace and possession of illicit drugs. Meanwhile, the Delta State Commissioner of Police, Yemi Oyeniyi, has continued his familiarization tour of the state with a visit to the Ughelli Area Command, where he met with the Ovie of Ughelli Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Wilson Ojakovo Oharisi III, as well as key stakeholders and police personnel. During the visit, the commissioner commended the traditional ruler and the people of Ughelli for their support to the police, stressing the need for stronger collaboration between security agencies and traditional institutions. He said intelligence sharing remains vital in tackling cultism, illicit drug trafficking, kidnapping, and other criminal activities, while assuring the monarch of the command's commitment to professionalism and respect for human rights. Responding, the Ovie of Ughelli Kingdom pledged the palace's continued support for the police, stating that no criminal would be protected because of community ties. From Ughelli to the Ogwashiuku Area Command, where CP Oyeniyi met with officers, men of the command, and key stakeholders to strengthen community policing across the state. Addressing police personnel, the commissioner charged them to uphold discipline, professionalism, integrity, and respect for human rights and the discharge of their duties. He also warned against unauthorized use of social media, stressing the Inspector General of Police's zero-tolerance policy on extortion, corruption, and other forms of unprofessional conduct. The visit also featured an interactive session with community stakeholders, including representatives of the Obi of Ogwashiuku Kingdom, the Obi of Nsukwa, leaders of the Arewa, Yoruba, and Igbo communities, the Police Community Relations Committee, vigilante groups, youth leaders, and other community representatives. I am Ife Arono, Dott TV News.
Elsewhere, the Jigawa State Police Command has impounded 24 vehicles and arraigned their owners in court for allegedly violating vehicle registration and traffic laws as part of a statewide enforcement drive aimed at boosting security and public safety. This was contained in a statement made available to journalists in Dose, the state's capital, by the police public relations officer Shisu Adam. He said the exercise is part of the police commitment to enhancing public safety, strengthening security, and ensuring strict compliance with laws regulating the use of motor vehicles on public roads. The PPRO explained that the operation targeted offenses commonly used to conceal vehicles from security checks. He added that vehicles displaying manufacturer's logo or decorative emblems in place of approved registration plates were also impounded. The clamor for the establishment of state police gained renewed momentum on Thursday as senior government officials, governors, lawmakers, security experts, and international stakeholders converged on Abuja to canvass a comprehensive overhaul of Nigeria's policing architecture. This is as they argue that the country's worsening insecurity demand a decentralized security system backed by strong legal safeguards, sustainable funding, community participation, and improved intelligence gathering. It is coming barely 2 days after President Bola Tinubu inaugurated the Presidential Working Group on the National Policing Bill to draft the legal framework for implementing state police following the Senate's passage of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Alteration State Police Bill 2026. The constitutional amendment currently before the National Assembly seeks to move policing from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list, thereby empowering states to establish and operate their own police services under a nationally regulated framework. And reactions have trailed the disclosure by the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, that Nigerian soldiers now earn a minimum monthly salary of 100,000 naira. Veterans and 7 personnel described the amount as grossly inadequate, accusing President Bola Tinubu of failing to implement a salary increment he promised nearly 4 months ago. This comes as President Tinubu on Thursday evening convened a security meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, comprising the entire military command, intelligence leadership, and top security advisors, including his special advisor on Homeland Security, Adeyinka Famadewa, whom he appointed in May. A retired soldier, Abdul Isaac, said the current pay could not meet the cost of living, adding that better pay would translate to better performance from troops. Still ahead on the Mayday news, US publishes names, photos of 124 Nigerians to be deported for crimes, plus foreign and sports stories coming up after this time out. Please stay with us.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Thank you for still being there. Now to the rest of our stories. No fewer than 933 members of the 2025 Batch B Stream 1 of the National Youth Service Corps has completed their mandatory one-year national service in Anambra State, while 9 others will repeat the service year after absconding. The NYSC also said 2 corps members had their service year extended on disciplinary grounds, while 5 others were retained by their employers for outstanding performance. The state coordinator of the NYSC, Pauline Ojuswa, disclosed this on Thursday during the passing out ceremony held simultaneously across the 21 local government areas of the state. Speaking at the ceremony in Ehiala local government area, Ojuswa congratulated the outgoing corps members and urged them to embrace entrepreneurship instead of waiting for white-collar jobs. To other stories now, the federal government has evacuated another 282 Nigerians from South Africa as part of its ongoing repatriation exercise following the wave of xenophobic attacks targeting foreign nationals in the country. The latest batch arrived at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, aboard an Air Peace flight on Thursday night, bringing the total number of Nigerians repatriated since the evacuation began on June 11th to 1,141. The evacuation follows growing concerns over the safety of Nigerians in South Africa after anti-immigrant protests intensified in several communities. More than 1,000 Nigerians had earlier indicated their willingness to return home through the federal government's evacuation program. Ahead of the latest flight, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Domego Ojukwu, urged Nigerians still stranded in South Africa to take advantage of the government's evacuation initiative. Meanwhile, the United States has announced an updated deportation list featuring 124 Nigerians. This was disclosed in a statement on the website of the Department of Homeland Security on Wednesday. The DHS claims that these individuals have been placed on what is described as its worst of the worst criminal register. While the names and photos have been made public, the timeline for the deportation remains undisclosed. And now to the foreign scene. The Indian state of West Bengal has been on the boil for the past few days over the rape and murder of an 11-year-old girl. The body of the child was fished out from a pond on Sunday, a day after her family reported her missing. The incident in Sujapur village in Baripur on the outskirts of Kolkata has triggered days of violent protests, a mob lynching, and the police killing of one of its suspects. 3 other men who have been arrested remain in custody. For more foreign stories, let's now join Zino Iruru.
The U.S. says it has hit 90 external targets in its second night of strikes on Iran. This is as Iranian media reported that explosions were heard in areas along the country's southern coast and that strikes have hit Iranian-controlled islands in the Gulf. The Iranian Health Ministry says 14 people have been killed in the past 2 nights, as Tehran says it targeted U.S. bases in Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain. The latest move by Tehran followed U.S. strikes on Tuesday. U.S. Central Command said were in response to attacks on 3 commercial vessels passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund has cut its 2026 global growth forecast for the second time this year, citing the lingering effects of the energy shock caused by the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. The IMF, in its latest outlook, said the global economy is expected to grow 3% in 2026, down from April's forecast of 3.1%, a modest slowdown, partly offset by AI-driven demand. Growth is forecast to rebound to 3.4% in 2027, just below the 2024 to 2025 growth average of 3.5%. The IMF's latest downgrade came after the United States on Tuesday renewed strikes on Iran following attacks on 3 commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, but before the U.S. forces launched a second round of bombing raids on Iranian targets on Wednesday. In other news, a Mexican immigrant was on his way to finish construction on several Houston homes with a crew of workers on Tuesday morning when he was shot and killed by an immigration and customs enforcement agent, and that is according to his family. 52-year-old Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was driving in Houston's East End area when ICE agents tried to conduct a traffic stop as part of a targeted operation, and he attempted to evade arrest. An ICE spokesperson in a statement said Salgado Araujo rammed into a law enforcement vehicle and refused to follow several verbal commands before an ICE agent fired his weapon in self-defense. His son said he had no criminal history and was afraid when unmarked cars began following him.
We are calling today for an immediate fully independent investigation. Step forward, take charge, release everything, indict or exonerate, okay, the officers that were involved in this issue.
A human being is dead. A father, a husband, a small business owner, a Latino, and an immigrant who has lived in this country for over 35 years, providing for his family, was shot and killed.
After nearly 35 years of working to give us the American dream, he made the choice to begin the process of obtaining his American dream through a work permit. We dotted every I, crossed every T, filled every document, attended every appointment. He was close to obtaining his.
No one should be asked to simply believe ISIS' version of the story. We need to know why Lorenzo was targeted. We need to know who authorized the operation. We need to know what threat agents believe they faced. Again, 35 years, Houston resident, no criminal record. What threat were they fearing?
Elsewhere, flooding from Tropical Storm Maysak has killed 39 people in southern China, most of them after a dam breach inundated the city of Nanong. Ding Wei, the city's vice mayor, announced the toll at a news briefing on Thursday, up sharply from a previous count of 6, after record rainfall breached reservoirs and sent torrents of water through towns and cities in the Guangxi region. Ding said the dam breach in Nanong killed 26 people. About 130,000 people have been evacuated from the region, and drones and thousands of boats have been used in a huge relief and rescue operation to reach people trapped by the waters. I am Zeno Roro reporting for Dott TV News.
Up next is Sports News with Anthony Uche.
We begin the sports news with the ongoing FIFA World Cup, where England defender Jero Kwanzaa has been handed an extra match ban on top of the automatic one-game suspension by FIFA's disciplinary committee following his red card against Mexico. Kwanzaa was sent off in the 54th minute of the 3-2 win following a high-footed challenge on Jesus Gallardo. It was classed as serious foul play, meaning the Bayer Leverkusen Players World Cup could be over unless England make it to the final on the 19th of July. Now on to the latest news. France missed a first-half penalty, but we are still too good for Morocco as they knocked the last African team out of the tournament with a comfortable 2-0 victory. Kylian Mbappe saw his penalty saved by Yassine Bounou, but recovered to score the opening goal on the hour mark with a superb calling effort from just inside the 18-yard box. The French captain then set up his teammate Ousmane Dembele for a similar finish 6 minutes later as France eased their way into a potential semi-final clash with Spain or Belgium next Tuesday in Dallas. Spain head into the quarter-final match today as heavy favourites and are yet to concede a goal in the tournament. In tennis, the final of the ladies' draw at Wimbledon will be an all-check affair with Karolina Muchova and Linda Noskova qualifying for the showpiece on Saturday. Muchova saved the match point before coming through an epic deciding set tiebreaker to beat Coco Gauff and secure a first Wimbledon final 6-2, 1-6, 7-6 win in sweltering conditions on centre court. Saturday's event will be her second ever Grand Slam final after reaching her first in 2023 at Roland Garros, where she lost in 3 sets to Iga Swiatek. In the second match of yesterday, 21-year-old Linda Noskova reached her first major final, withstanding Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk's second set fight back, prevail 6-4, 6-4. It is the first time two women representing the same nation have contested a Grand Slam final since 2017 US Open between Americans Sloane Stephens and Madison Keys. Local favorite Otto Ferry and French Open champion Alexander Zverev face each other in the first of the men's semi-finals on center court on Friday, and Novak Djokovic takes on Jannik Sinner in the second match on center court. From the sports desk, Anthony Uche for Dott TV News.
That's a wrap on the midday news on Dott Television. Thank you for joining us. I am Priscilla Ifeanyi.